What if the smartest move a wizard ever makes isn't a spell? It's loyalty. One wand. For years. Sounds limiting. Until you realize that stick is alive enough to read your pulse, memorize your anger, and sharpen your aim. The best duelists don't carry backups. They carry a partner that's trained on their reflexes like a homing missile. Borrowed wands stumble. Ultimate wands switch sides. And splitting your focus, that's how you miss. In the next minutes, we'll crack the unspoken rules wand makers never print. And by the end, you'll know exactly why mastering one wand beats owning 10. A wand doesn't just boost your magic, it studies it. Day one feels awkward, like borrowing someone's shoes. Spells land, but the timing is off, and the recoil nudges your wrist the wrong way. Then the calibration starts. Your grip finds the balance point. The core hears how you breathe before a risky charm. The wood remembers how much pressure you put on a tight clockwise arc. A week later, your stunner leaves faster because your wrist snap matches the wand's natural spring. A month later, Lumos doesn't flare. It rises to the exact brightness you pictured. By year one, the wand is finishing sentences you haven't spoken. That loop, your intent training the wand while the wand trains your reflexes, turns casting into instinct. Borrow a friend's wand, and that invisible rhythm vanishes. Micro delays creep in. Beams drift a hair wide. Defensive charms feel mushy at the edges. In a duel, that's the difference between clean control and messy luck. One wand makes your magic automatic. A pile of spares makes it inconsistent. But if commitment makes you stronger, why do extra wands actually make you worse? That's where the performance penalty shows up next. Cast Actio. Subscribe. If your button flies toward you, congrats. If not, you really need this channel. Magic will flow through almost anything you point at the world, but performance doesn't. Your best work happens when your intent and your wand's feel line up so tightly that reactions are automatic. Swap wands, and that alignment breaks. Flex changes. Balance shifts. The core resonates at a slightly different pitch. You still cast, but the spell comes out with a tiny hitch. A stunner drifts half a degree. A shield forms a breath slower. A levitation charm wobbles at the edges. In a corridor duel, that half beat is the whole fight. Rotation makes it worse. Split your practice across 2 or 3 wands. What if the smartest move a wizard ever makes isn't a spell? It's loyalty. One wand. For years. Sounds limiting. Until you realize that stick is alive enough to read your pulse, memorize your anger, and sharpen your aim. The best duelists don't carry backups. They carry a partner that's trained on their reflexes like a homing missile. Borrowed wands stumble. Ultimate wands switch sides. And splitting your focus, that's how you miss. In the next minutes, we'll crack the unspoken rules wand makers never print. And by the end, you'll know exactly why mastering one wand beats owning 10. A wand doesn't just boost your magic, it studies it. Day one feels awkward, like borrowing someone's shoes. Spells land, but the timing is off, and the recoil nudges your wrist the wrong way. Then the calibration starts. Wands aren't neutral. They choose, and later they can change their minds. Beat someone clean, disarm, outmaneuver, assert control. And a wand may lean toward the new master. Steal one without earning it, and you'll feel the difference. Spells fire, but the aim wanders and the power dips like the wand is second-guessing you. That's the hidden risk of options. A drawer full of trophies is a drawer full of doubt. Ownership in the wizarding world isn't paperwork. it's precedent. The more often you win with a wand, the more it trusts your hand. The more you fumble it or lose it, the more uncertainty creeps in. Ordinary wands can realign over time when fairly won. Infamous wands swing faster and harder, chasing whoever proved stronger last. Either way, loyalty is a performance stat. A wand that questions you will hesitate in tiny, lethal ways. This is why professionals commit. One bonded wand gives you stable allegiance, predictable recoil, and a memory of your victories, not someone else's. You're not just carrying a tool, you're carrying a record of earned control. And that loyalty gets baked in early, long before the first duel, starting with what kids are told to bring to school next. From the moment a first year steps into a wand shop, the ritual says it all. You don't pick a set, you get chosen by one. The school list even spells it out, one wand. So every class, charm, and duel drills the same partner into your muscles. Teachers grade consistency. Clubs practice precision. Homework builds micro-habits with that exact balance and flex. By the end of term, your hand finds the grip without looking. Practical life reinforces it. Wands are expensive, repairs are finicky, and a damaged wand turns every spell into a gamble. Ask anyone who's tried to make do with a cracked one and watched hexes ricochet. So students learn 2 lessons early. Bond with one wand and keep it healthy. A spare is for emergencies, not identity. Social norms seal the deal. Showing up with multiple wands reads like indecision or gimmickry. Showing up with a single well-worn partner reads like discipline. And in exams or duels, the reputation that follows competence is worth more than any flashy collection. Tradition sets the habit, but the hardware itself enforces it. Fit, flexibility, and safety make the case even stronger next. Wands aren't one-size-fits-all. They're tuned like instruments. Length lines up with your reach and casting style. Long wands reward sweeping arcs and room to work, while shorter ones snap to tight, fast motions. Balance decides how quickly the tip settles after recoil. Some sit forward like a duelist's rapier. Others balance at the grip for subtle charm work. Swap to a similar wand, and those microphysics change. Your stunner leaves a shade early, your shield seals a hair late, and your follow-up feels a beat behind your intent. Flexibility is the quiet killer of backups. Supple wands forgive improvisation and soak up jitter. Rigid wands reward absolute certainty and punish hesitation. If your reflexes were trained on a supple partner, a stiff stand-in will transmit every twitch into the spell. If you trained on something unyielding, a bendy spare blurs the edge of precision. The result isn't drama, it's drift. Spells land, but the control bleeds. Then there's the core's temper. Dragon for raw push, Phoenix for nuance, Unicorn for steadiness, and so on. Your nerves have learned how much emotion the core will accept before it surges or stalls. A different core rewrites those thresholds. Push the same way with a spare, and you either overfeed the spell or starve it, which is how safe charms turn ragged under pressure. Safety is the final reason spares disappoint. A wand remembers stress, like wood remembers water. Tiny hairline strains change how power moves through the grain. Even a healthy wand has a preferred path your hand learns to respect. A backup with a different path can splash raw magic at the margins. Little hiccups you won't notice until the stakes are high. A damaged wand magnifies that risk into real backfires. Professionals don't gamble on variance. They engineer it out by committing to one perfectly understood conduit. So if fit and feel nudge you toward a single partner, what about the flashy edge cases? Dual-wielding, legendary wands or ditching wands entirely. That's where the exceptions prove the rule next. Can you fire magic with more than one wand? In theory, yes. And in chaos, some witches and wizards have cast with a wand that wasn't originally theirs, or even tried using two at once. But the moment you split your focus, accuracy bleeds. Two focal points means two recoil patterns, two timing curves, and one brain trying to resolve both. You get flashier sparks and sloppier outcomes. In real fights, precision beats spectacle. What about legendary wands? The Elder Wand is the loudest outlier, an amplifier with a mean streak. It can boost output, but it's also fame-hungry and fickle with allegiance. It rewards strength, punishes hesitation, and changes sides if you're bested. That's power wrapped in instability, the opposite of what you want if consistency wins duels. And wandless magic? It's real, rare, and brutally hard to control at speed. Without a focus to channel intent, even gifted casters struggle to keep spells tight and repeatable. You can light a room or shove a door. Threading a needle in a duel is another story. Most pros still reach for the conduit that turns nerve signals into clean geometry, their one bonded wand. So yes, exceptions exist. They just come with penalties: split attention, shaky loyalty, or diminished control. In practice, those costs push serious witches and wizards back to the same conclusion: one partner, perfected. Which brings us to the practical reason duelists swear by it: the tactical edge you can feel in your hands next. Join the Order of the One Wand. Oath is simple: click, subscribe, and never fumble a spell again. Duels aren't won by the biggest spell. They're won by the fastest, clean decision. One wand strips decisions away. Your hand reaches to the same spot every time. The grip lands the same. The first motion is already loaded in your wrist. No which wand fits this charm. No recalibrating balance mid-cast. That shaves whole beats. Beats your opponent wastes thinking. With a single partner, non-verbal casting tightens too, because your wand already recognizes the shape of your intent. You think smaller, it answers quicker. Defense gets sharper. Shields seal without gaps because your arm knows exactly how far the tip must travel. Counters chain correctly because the recoil you expect is the recoil you get. Even recovery is faster. If you're disarmed, your axio call is tuned to one weight, one length, one flight path. Easier to rip back out of the air. And on the move, a single familiar wand holsters, conceals, and draws without snagging. Less gear, fewer fumbles, more wins. All of which sets up the real answer: why one wand isn't tradition at all, but the smartest path to power. That landing comes next. Wizards don't stick to one wand because of tradition. They do it because it wins. A bonded wand turns thought into action with no wasted motion. It remembers your victories, forgives your nerves, and keeps its edge where you need it most. Spares add latency. Borrowed wands bleed control. Legendary wands trade certainty for drama. When outcomes hinge on half a heartbeat, optionality loses to reliability. Here's the twist: if a wand learns you, then change changes the bond. Grow calmer, get harder, face fear you never had, and your wand updates the map. That's why one partner beats a collection. It evolves with you instead of competing for your focus. So the answer isn't mystical, it's practical. One conduit, perfectly understood, outperforms 10 you barely know. The greats aren't minimalists. They're engineers of consistency. If you had the chance to grab a louder, riskier wand, would you ditch the one that knows your pulse? Tell me below. And if this cracked something open for you, bind yourself to the channel, tap subscribe, and let's master the art of the single wand together. In the end, the secret isn't louder magic, it's tighter alignment. One wand learns your rhythm, trims your hesitation, and answers before doubt can form. Extra wands add noise. Borrowed wands add delay. Legendary wands add drama you can't control. When a heartbeat decides the outcome, reliability beats variety every single time. So here's the question worth arguing over. If a flashier wand promised raw power, would you abandon the one that already speaks your pulse? If this cracked something open, bind to the channel, tap subscribe, and join the One Wand faithful. Drop your take below and tell me which exception you think actually holds up.